The Port of Los Angeles is the busiest in the Western Hemisphere, but now it's preparing for a dramatic slowdown, according to Executive Director Gene Soroka.
What do you anticipate happening over the next couple of weeks?
In 2 weeks' time, Carter, we'll see a drop on our import side of the business by about a third. And it could be as much as 40% the week to follow. Most American importers are saying that they're stopping shipments out of China because they simply weren't going to pay 2.5 times the cost of the goods.
With a 145% tariff, a container of Chinese goods worth $100,000 will now cost importers an extra $145,000.
With information coming out of Washington seemingly by the hour, it's tough to get a line of sight on what's next. Inventory on hand right now in the United States will last for about 6 to 8 weeks. After that, shelves will be bare. We won't be able to buy as much online.
All of these games come from China.
At the Game Chest, owner Mariam Ahamami has been stockpiling toys and games that arrived before the tariffs.
So I'm buying what I think I'll sell between now and September.
You sound like a hoarder.
I feel like a hoarder. If you've seen my stores, you would see the hoarding in the back rooms.
80% of her merchandise comes from China, and board games are her biggest sellers.
Seems like you should be able to make a board game in the U.S.
It's true. It does look easy, but it's filled with lots and lots of different parts and pieces. And there's just not enough manufacturing here to be able to do that successfully.
At this point, even if the tariffs are reduced significantly,
It'll still take about 10 days to 2 weeks to get these ships back in line over in China. Then it's a 2-week trip here to L.A. So we're starting to cut it pretty close with respect to inventory in the U.S.
So we might see some empty shelves even if the tariffs are brought down in the next couple of weeks.
We're running out of time on that. And if we have fewer items to select from, that's going to put a pinch on the American buyer.
We're the first country to embargo ourselves. Welcome to the find out phase. MAGA doesn't even care. They're happy that they're owning the libs. That's all that matters to them. Ports of Los Angeles was the busiest ever. Then an idiot took the helm. What's going to happen to all the people working at the ports? As this person says, no shipments, no jobs.
America, this is not a joke. All these videos and stories you've heard about the ports, this is real. This is Shanghai right now on the National Aquamarine site. Every single circle here in Shanghai is a vessel that's just sitting there. Now let's take a look at America. Here's Los Angeles, one of our busiest ports. Nobody's there. I even looked at Philadelphia and New York. Nothing. Then I thought about Washington State, huge ports. Nothing. Back to China. That's what I'm saying. This is not good. So these articles are not lying. Huge decline at LA Port is a hit to truckers and a stark warning of coming tariff damage? I would say so. Once again, that's LA right now. Nothing. There's nothing there. Even Financial Times from Vision, a data provider, showed container bookings from China to the U.S. fell 45% by mid-April. I don't think they're coming, people. I mean, this shit is everywhere. Empty ports, empty shelves. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but if you see the amount of circles on this map right here in Shanghai, the world's busiest port, that means they might not be coming. I just want people to know this is real. And we have nothing going on at our ports.
China will survive this, but we won't. You know, China might get away with it, but they're obviously going to get hurt because those are clients' products that are just sitting there. And if they can't sell it to one of the biggest consumers out there, America, then they're not making any money.
China is starting to feel the pain from the US tariffs, but they don't want anyone to know about it. And keep in mind, China has around 20 million workers involved in US-bound exports alone. And that is going to be painful because official data showed on Wednesday that Chinese factory activity has plummeted in April. This has resulted in a significant increase in worker protests, factories are closing down, and some employees' wages are not getting paid.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
This is good for America. Clearly, you could tell that's not American for sure. People looking at this still thinking US is winning scare me. I'm telling you, they're delulu.
As of today, the de minimis tax exemption for imports below $800 from China has now expired, which means everything, minus some exceptions, are being hit with the 145% in tariffs. And this is causing some panic. Let me go ahead and show you this. This is a tweet that I came across earlier today. This is Andrew. I am the resistance. So you can see his political leanings. So, you know, just to be fair there. So he says, not to be an alarmist, but this is one of the biggest and most critical shipping ports in the United States. These pictures were taken earlier this afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Nothing is coming in. This is what all of our ports look like right now because of Trump's tariffs. And he shows these images are coming from the Port of Los Angeles and the Port of Long Beach, getting some alarm there. Now, it's not only social media users who are sounding the alarm. Major news outlets have also been. If you go and you Google this in the news, you're going to see every single major outlet saying shipping is down 30%. The ports are down 30%, which is an alarming number because during the pandemic, it was about 20%. So 30%. Now, with the pandemic, it was a little different because it was prolonged. We had bottlenecks. Ships weren't able to port. So there was a lot of other issues there, not just a drop in actual goods coming in. But 30% sounds really alarming, or even 35%. The numbers are a little bit different depending on which outlet that you're watching. But watch this from CNN.
The Port of Los Angeles says it does expect shipping volume from China to plunge about 35% next week. The president addressing this just a short time ago.
You know, they're sending boats, the biggest boats in the world, carrying cargo like nobody's ever seen before. These are the biggest boats in the world, biggest cargo ships in the world. And they're coming and they're turning around in the Pacific Ocean. They're doing a big U-turn and going back because they don't want the goods because 145% tariff. But at a certain point, I hope we're going to make a deal with China. We're talking to China.
Okay, so he admits that the ships are turning around because of the 145% tariff. So he's hoping that, yeah, they're turning around, but maybe this will cause China to make a deal.
So should I wait on making this Shein order? Y'all thinking about clothes right now? Oh my God. You should be thinking about food.
Things are getting real now because your ports are empty. Los Angeles, Seattle, almost no ships there. And it's already very clear when the last foreign ships will arrive. Now you will see what happens. Production, truck drivers, retail, everything will come to a standstill. Your shelves will be empty. Production of almost anything, because no product on this planet is manufactured by one country only. They all have components, and there are a lot of components coming from China. So no production because parts are missing. Medication is largely imported, so people will suffer or even die because you wanted to start a trade war. This will be an absolute disaster for you.
I'm sure Trump will blame Biden for the current situation. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. By the end of June, there will be empty shelves all around the country. Oh yes, we are going to suffer, but MAGA still insists nothing is going to happen, and we are not going to a, recession. They're about to have a very brutal wake-up call. But I think they'll still think that it's for the greater good of America.
Have you guys seen the ports? If you haven't seen the ports, go ahead and look in your search bar for Los Angeles ports or Seattle ports, because it is being reported they're an absolute ghost town. And the last ships are coming in at the end of this month. And on the East Coast, it's not getting any better. The last ship coming in from China is targeted for May 10th. And if you look at ports in China, the largest port in China, it is an active, busy hub. So it shows you it's not something that's sweeping the globe here. This is not COVID. This is more directed. This is direct effect of Donald Trump and his tariffs. And I'm not going to come in here and fearmonger and say we're not going to have anything, but you better believe if ships are not docking and they are not taking goods off those ships and they are shipping empty, 40+% of ships are shipping like empty or close to empty. What do you think that's going to happen? The only logical conclusion is there are going to be less goods on the shelves. And it's not only going to be, your toys and electronics and things that you can get by without during a recession. It's going to be food, vegetables, fruits, grains, all sorts of things like that we import. We import a lot of beef and pork and things like that. Even though we have it here, we also import a lot of food as well, a lot of other meats from other countries. And you're going to see a drastic change in the next coming month. In the grocery store, in the retail shop, Walmart CEOs, Target, Home Depot, those CEOs sat down with Trump and said, look, the shelves are going to be barren. We are going to be in a huge issue. And even if he stops the tariffs today and says, oh boy, it was a huge mistake, That doesn't just turn around. So I myself am going to be going to Costco and buying some of those staples, making sure I have a big ass bag of rice, some beans, toilet paper, whatever. I'm not saying panic shop, don't panic shop, but just make sure maybe you buy an extra of what you normally buy. Get yourself a little bit of extra shelf stable foods so that you make sure you have something, because these ports, they're empty. That's not hyperbole. That's not fear-mongering. That's just the truth. And 2 and 2, you're not going to have those things on the shelf. We're not getting them in from these countries. When the ports are empty, the shelves will be empty. And this is all thanks to one man and his stubborn ignorance, just absolute nonsense, and having no understanding of how anything works in this world. We saw it the first time around, and we knew it was going to be worse the next time. So here we go. Welcome to Trump's world.
One man has destroyed this country. A man who filed for bankruptcy 6 times. Way to go, conservatives.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
You don't have to lower prices if there's nothing to mark down. What a genius move. And he's actually going to be saving people some money, because there's literally going to be nothing on the shelves to buy. Now, I hope you don't actually need these items in your day-to-day lives, but what a genius move. Empty ports, empty shelves, Trump tariff battle that he's losing terribly is set to hit home soon. By the middle of May, thousands of companies, big and small, will be needing to replenish inventories. Giant retailers such as Walmart, Target told Trump in a meeting last week that shoppers are likely to see empty shelves and higher prices. Apollo Management's chief economist recently warned of looming shortages. He knows something about that, doesn't he? It's just going to go away. Remember that? It's just going to go away. But this is what winning looks like.
Crushing the US is simply the hottest trend of 2025. This is not people coming to crush America. It's Trump doing this to the country. You don't need to pick battles between your allies and people who you do business with. There's no need for it. Let me know what y'all think about what's going on. Leave your comments down below, because this is not looking good. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.